I think we are live. Are we live? Am I here? Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can hear you.
Yes.
Because everything happens at the last moment. Something just happened, and this dashboard decided to show me that my connection was unstable. I have no idea why. But anyway, welcome all, gentlemen and the ladies, obviously, and a very, very happy Women's Day to all of you. We are at that day of the year again where we take some time out to acknowledge everything that a woman is and all of the contributions that they are making to the society, which are always very evident. But then again, I mean, it needs to be acknowledged, and we take out this time to do that. uh, and it is my pleasure today to be joined by some of these extremely talented and amazing ladies of the tech industry. It's obviously important to talk about how things are in these different verticals that these women are in, and obviously there's so many experiences that they have to share, and that is what we will talk about today. uh, the theme for today is break the bias, and that is what we are going to be talking about how these incredible women broke the bias and are here where they are. But obviously, introductions are in order, so I want to start with Varsha. Why don't you take some time and introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi everyone, I'm Varsha. I work at Flipkart. I have been working at Flipkart for the past 7 years. I recently got promoted to an engineering manager. So, yeah, here I am loving JavaScript, loving everything about the work I do and breaking the bias.
Well deserved. And I'm also joined by Pooja Bhaumik. Pooja, I think everybody knows you already, but why don't we do an introduction again?
Well, that's an assumption. But
It's a fair
hi,
one. It's a fair one.
yeah. Hi, I'm Pooja Bhaumik, and currently I'm working as a senior engineer in Unicards. And along with that, I'm also a Google developer expert for Flutter. I also mentor for Google for startups. And interesting fact is also that I have co-founded Women Droid Bangalore in like Women Droid community in Bangalore, where we kind of discuss about professional and personal growth objectives for women developers, which this fact must be very relevant for today. So that's more about me.
Breaking the bias already. Rati, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yes, so I'm Rati. I'm from Agra, and I work as a UI UX designer for Geeky Ants, and I am behind all the like one of the designer whose work you see at Native Base.
Wow. Well, I think Rati is a familiar face. She's been here before. And Ruchika, finally, let us know who you
Yeah,
are.
yeah. Hey, Digvijay, thank you for me having me in this panel, like which comprises only your tech women and like which is itself is a rare combination in this industry. So thank you for having me here. So my name is Ruchika Gupta, and I'm a tech lead at Geeky Ants, and like I'm passionate more about tech and experiments, and I like to travel a lot. So I'm so excited to part of this channel and like got an opportunity to represent women in tech, like which is quite rare. And like although we know that we have made enough progress in this field, but still there is a limited space for women in this area. So like I'm assuming that while sharing our stories today through this International Women's Day, maybe it will inspire all the women out there, and yeah, happy Women's Day to all of them.
Thank you so much, Ruchika. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here. Obviously, I've had the pleasure of meeting most of them in person, and I can tell you that these are women who have climbed their way to the top, touched the summit, come back down, lifted other people with them, and then touched the summit again. And we have loads and loads to talk about. So I think the best way for us to begin would be for I think I'll just talk to you, Pooja, about this. Uh, what was your inspiration behind getting into tech? How did you get here?
I actually wanted to become a designer.
Oh,
So
okay. What changed?
yeah. Well, I could not make my designs come alive. So I went into UX development or UI development in a way, and started building a mobile app where the focus for me, I will learn how to convert my UI design into something like a tech thing. So then I got into development as well to basically create a complete app. And the satisfaction that I got when that app got released and it got used by people, and there were like reviews and comments and all that, I'm like, I'm doing this for not the rest
Oh,
of
yeah,
my
this
life,
is
but
for
at
me.
least a good part of my life. It
Yeah,
is
but
the
it,
satisfaction at the end.
probably a good place to start. But then
Yeah,
here we are,
yeah.
all these years later.
Yeah, I mean, I was almost looking for design schools, and then I started looking for like engineering schools. So that's how it completely changed. But yeah, I think it was like the high of creating something, like you are able to create a product or like something that's real and something that can change behaviors, or like it can improve people's lives or whatever. Like, I'm not trying to change the world, but even a little bit, like a small thing can also, like, change a behavior or improve people's life. So that was a reason why I was in mobile development rather than anything else, because it was so much more intimate to a user. So here I am, still building mobile apps.
Noble thoughts. Rati, I think you would be resonating with that quite a lot since you found yourself in design.
Totally. I mean, I am also somebody who shifted actually, which like she shifted from design school to engineer, but I from business schools to design schools. But in fact, I didn't, settle for that. I thought of rather learning through on-job experiences. So I'm a self-taught UI UX designer, and yeah, tech field was never in my imagination.
Right. Varsha, would love to know about your source of inspiration.
Money.
You've got a real
I,
one in the house, ladies and gentlemen. A real one.
I thought of a lot of options.
Hmm.
I mean, but it was not like I wanted to be a UI developer. It was never like
Hmm.
that sort of a thing. Post engineering from my college, and you know how it was, right? So it was all in that young age. You're all free, and you're all like, okay, what's next? So I kind of stumbled on it more than decided for it, and then it continued to inspire me, which is why I'm still doing it 10 years post I left my college. So how I stumbled upon it was very weird because I joined a government company actually, and we had these special uniforms that we had to wear every day and punch in at like 8 o'clock, which is not the source of inspiration that you'll be looking for. But what really inspired me there was that we were building this sort of UI for the army, the Indian Army, where they could place their battalions and create something on the map. And that's when I felt, oh wow, this is so cool, And that time we were using jQuery, and I was like, wow. I mean, with such a small, a tech stack, you can actually achieve so much, and you can contribute so much towards the society. So that became like a constant source of inspiration. And then of course I was like, okay, now let's see how much I can get paid for this, because I'm good at it. So that's when the inspiration became even more. I became more driven towards what I wanted to achieve. And I had this dream of having big closets and fashionable things for me. So I was like, why not? Let's get what I want to do. Let's get what I've always dreamt of since I was a kid.
Looking at your background, I think you're getting there.
Oh, no, no, no. Don't be fooled by that. That's my mother's house.
Okay. Well, thanks for breaking that bubble. Uh, Ruchika, I've had the pleasure of watching you grow into this position that you're in now. We've been working together for quite some time. But what started it all for you?
So what started it off actually when I started my engineering and my career around that, I didn't had that source of inspiration coming like from my family or from my background at that time.
Hmm.
So at that time, I decided like why can't be I'll be the one to like inspire and I'll start this journey with my family. This thing. So like that was the passion, and I started engineering on top of that. Like, but when I came to this industry, then I had the power of technology in my hand, and when I created my first app, and I was like, okay, the next Facebook will be coming from my hand itself. I got that empowerment. I know this I had something that I can relate, and I took it forward. So I had that strength on me, and I believed on myself, and like this is how I started my journey here. And like after that, you know the history with Geeky Ants.
Well, I think this is the perfect segue for us to get into the theme for today, obviously, which is break the bias. I would love to know what you ladies have, what thoughts you have about this. I mean, Ruchika did talk about one of the biases that she started out with, that she wanted to be a source of inspiration, and people did not really think about how she could be one, and was trying to be pushed into, if I'm not wrong, was trying to be pushed into something that was more streamlined and more relevant with how the society works. So I'd love to know from you guys, what do you think about this break the bias movement that's going on, and what kind of biases have you come across in your careers, or started out with, which might have held you back but clearly didn't. I'd love to know from you guys. Rati, why don't you tell us?
I firstly feel that it doesn't only require women to break the bias, but also men. So I have
Mhm.
fortunately come across men in my life who have tried to empower and being imperative about giving opportunities to women and not creating the bias on the basis of gender. But I cannot deny the fact that it doesn't exist, and I believe that it starts from home. And I and the men around me, I see them, they really trying to break the bias.
Mhm.
So yes, I just want that we all keep that for every woman around us.
Right.
Just adding to what she said, like I personally felt a lot of, I wouldn't say it was a conscious bias. It was more of an unconscious bias that I felt, that I had in the last 10 years of my career. Right. So basically, I'll give you an example. So it's like I'm sitting in an interview room and a guy enters, and then I start asking him questions around problem solving or UI tech, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Is this not an HR round?" And I'm like, "Why would you assume that this is an HR
Wow.
round?"
Okay.
So
That was
like I'm
unexpected.
yeah, unexpected to me as well. And he's like, "No, I looked at you and I thought that maybe it's an HR round." So I was like, "Okay,
Ah.
what is it about my looks that's giving you that impression that this is going to be an HR round and not like a technical round?" And then of course, as the round progressed, he realized, and of course he apologized as well. But that's just one of the examples. Like when people assume that I'm the HR in the company more than like a technical person. Um, how I wouldn't say how I'm breaking the bias, but how we are breaking the bias at the company is when my peers, when my leadership, right, they put me up front and they kind of give me that opportunity to break that bias and to have that space for myself where I can create technically, right, where I wouldn't say prove because that's the wrong word. I would never want to prove myself, but I have been always given, and not just me. I have always been regarded as an engineer in the company rather than a male engineer or a female engineer, and the opportunities have been so unbiased that these little things did not kind of break into me or did not bother me a lot, because then I knew that I had this confidence given from my peers and from my leadership and from within me that hey, whatever is happening is just maybe an unconscious bias and not directly targeted at someone like me. So that's one bias that women who take care of themselves or do a lot of makeup or buy a lot of fashion stuff, more technically, what will they do? So that's the kind of bias that I've been trying to break since the beginning of my career.
Right.
Pretty
Well,
interesting that. Sorry.
yeah, Pooja, go on.
I mean, the HR thing has happened to me as well. That
Oh my
I'm on the
God.
interview.
Okay.
It's like
Want to know
the
that story.
assumption is that okay, is this the HR round or something like that, or behavioral round or whatever is it, something. So that has happened, and I'm pretty sure it has happened to a lot of women who, like, I have also had, like, guys come in the interview and say like, oh, I was not expecting a woman on the panel or whatever. Like, why? What was the reason why you're not expecting? I mean, okay, fine. And that has happened. And even like talking about being in a very higher position, where if you're trying to be authoritative and you have trying to sound like that, it comes for a woman is like, oh, you're so rude. But for a man is like, okay, no, he's like showing authority here.
He
He's like,
knows his stuff.
yeah, he knows his stuff. And this
Yeah.
this this girl who's probably
Yeah.
like more than
Oh,
30
how
years
dare
or
she?
25 years, it's like she's so rude. So yeah, I mean, like, you want to be in that higher position, but then you have to also, like, the expectation is that you have to sound very innocent, you have to sound very nice, which is not how we are all are. We are not nice all the time. We are like any other engineer. If there is a problem, we
Mhm.
are going to scream and shout and as well. But it's like she's just raising her voice for no reason at all. Like just it's just like very. I don't know if they've seen it in the movies or whatever. Like the girls shout a lot, kind of thing. So those kind of
Right.
things, biases also like come in the like technical grounds, which is like so stupid, honestly speaking. But yeah, we have faced these as well, and sometimes we just ignore it, honestly speaking, and sometimes we speak for it, but maybe not all the time. I don't have the energy to all the time speak for it, honestly speaking.
So I have one point here. So
Mm.
the I feel the issue behind this is because we have like less number of people in the leadership position in the like tech industry. So it's assumptions that okay, there is we have to cross that barrier, and a woman and woman to be in position, it's very hard to like accept that. So maybe this is one of the reasons that we have to face these type of challenges. So like if we'll face like if we'll try to resolve that diversity in the in an organization, and if we'll try to motivate that, so I think that can like we can have a discussion around that how we can do that. But maybe these types of problem can be solved with the issues like the solution for this.
I think the words being feminine and grace are crudely misunderstood, right? And it's very much associated with how things have been in the past and how women are supposed to be a certain way. uh,
Yeah,
Whereas it has nothing to do with how capable you are and what kind of capabilities and what kind of skills and the kind of mentality and the kind of intellect that you hold. And I think these things are mixed quite often, and that's, I think, what creates this confusion. I mean, a woman
right.
in a leadership position sitting on a principal chair can also be very graceful at the same time, right?
Or
There's a
not,
different grace
or
about
maybe
it.
not.
Or not, or not. I
Yeah,
mean, why not?
Yeah, we can be tough. Yeah.
yeah,
Of course. I think, I mean, it goes beyond question that, toughness is something that is inherent in women. It's not something they learn or they come by. It's inherent because women are strong. And I've seen that so many times, I've seen my mother. I've seen so many people around me. I have the pleasure of knowing this one very close friend of mine who was always regarded as somebody who would probably get married after school, get married in a rich family, and then settle and then enjoy all the riches. But instead she worked hard and she turned out to be the entrepreneur of the year in this local area, this local town of mine, which
nice.
was a huge surprise to most of the people. But I had this opportunity to be a very close part of her journey, and seeing women do these things and seeing women rise above all the bias, it's always a pleasure to watch. uh,
Right.
with that, I'd like to also ask you, since this is a very interesting thing, and this something I'm very curious about. Uh, in your careers so far, uh, do you recall that one moment that you absolutely took as a challenge and said, "Well, that's it. This is where I show you who I am."
I can probably start here and say that I think like becoming like when I became a Google developer expert, that was when I was in college. I was in my final year of engineering, and I had a very deep rooted imposter syndrome as well, that I can't be associated with the title expert. That's not possible. I can't be associated with that title, because that is so opposite of like the imposter syndrome thing, is because it's like, okay, people are going to know that I'm an imposter here. And it took me 4 months to actually convince myself to apply for it. And when I did become, I realized, I didn't know this, but I realized that I was the first woman tech GD in India. And it's like, okay, so there was nobody before me. And
That's
that,
amazing.
That deserves an applause. That does,
True, true.
surely.
that was a
More
realization I
power
had,
to
that
you.
thank you. But I was like, okay, that kind of gave me a motivation, like, okay, so I don't know why it took so many years for like women to come into this spot of expert. Like right now we have a lot of women GDs in tech, but which was, and I'm talking about probably like 2000. 19 maybe, where basically 2019 where I became a GD. So before that there was nobody, and it like I took it on me that okay, now I really want to be part of making sure that there are more women out there who actually forget the expert program, anything else, like just coming out in the limelight saying that you can do this, I am capable of doing this, I capable of becoming an expert as well. uh, just really, and I think that is also the year that we founded Women Droid as well. So like it was kind of like an agenda that I have since a long time, I think since college, that I don't want to be part of a men's or a boys club anymore. I really want my like my ladies to be part of the achievement have. Like it is from hackathon also, it's like being in boys club program was also like a boys club. I mean, I don't want to be part of this boys club anymore. I need my ladies here.
Clearly a trailblazer, and you think like one too. What about you guys, Rati?
For me, the challenges was in this field itself. Like, I was not expecting myself in a tech field without a degree in one, right? So, I think finding a career which I love, which the world needs, which I'm good at, and which I can be paid for, is a greatest achievement. But it had its own challenges. So yeah, I mean, meeting the job requirements without a degree in design was tough, and I had to make a choice that I have to meet the requirements. Otherwise, I have to go for a degree. And I'm somehow fortunate enough to get a job where I'm learning and I'm enjoying every day. And also, when you think of a tech role, it always comes with, coding is required. And I was also questioning this, that you are learning this, but what if it requires coding? Will you learn it, and will you be spending time in the coding, which was not intentional? I didn't want to code. I want to design for the world, for a purpose. So that was a challenge, but I chose to dive in. And yeah, it's been great. I mean, I think the best part about achievements is that you have set of challenges to discuss and talk about.
Right, and I think achieving such things also gives you the confidence that you can achieve anything you set your mind to. Really, I think
Yeah.
it's the first important step that you need in your life to be able to have that confidence in yourself. And
Right.
I'm so glad that it worked out for you, Rati, the way it did, because you are
Thank you
doing
so much.
amazing things at Geeky Ants, and I've seen them myself. Varsha,
Yeah, I think two great women have already spoken about that. I wouldn't say that my career journey had like one breakthrough moment where I realized, okay, I achieved this. It had multiple of it, really there's a lot of gratitude also involved, right? Because you are not you if the community doesn't support you, right? And if people are not there to support. So I wouldn't
exactly.
say I need like a female squad by my side. Even the male squad by my side has been really helpful to me, right? All my friends, all my peers who have always supported me. I've seen this with everyone. So I'm not going to say that we are in 1980s where none of the men support what women do. No, it's not like that. You are here talking to us about our journey, which itself showcases, like, what kind of attention, what kind of support all of you give to us, and not just us, even to your men peers, right? So I feel that equality has come up a little bit. I'm talking only from my perspective, and this is just my experience. I'm not talking on behalf of any other women out there. So please don't quote me on it, and don't bash me saying that, why did you
I
say
think we
that?
are in a safe space.
Yeah. So I would just say that I'm privileged enough to have such people in my life who made it all possible. So while, as I said, that, while there were biases, right, in people's mind, whether or not they were in your closest inner circles, it doesn't matter, but there were biases that you had to break, right? What if she's getting up and doing makeup at 8 a.m., what code does she write? Like, so I started my journey as a UI1 and grew up to be an engineering manager. So of course there has to be a lot of challenges that are involved. It's not an easy journey. It's not like, okay, I achieved this 10 years down the line because this is what I dreamt of. No, it
Mm,
had been so terrifying at times that I used to wake up at night and think, will I ever reach that level that I aspire to be? Will I ever be that person? And I used to get scared. But then you have to realize that your career is a journey which you have to take every step. You have to move patiently and take all the help that you need. Don't be afraid to ask for help from people around you, from the community around you. Twitter is such a nice space, right, where I have found myself growing so much. So I was a mentee when I started my Twitter journey, and today I'm mentoring people, right? So that's how you kind of grow into someone that you aspire to be. So what I would say is that challenges are many. From UI1 to UI2, I had certain challenges. From 3 to 4, it was majority of my challenge, because 3 years I was stuck in the same position and I was not growing, right? And there was a lot of, okay, what's to do? And you have those discussions in your head. Is it right for me? Is it too late for me? Is it too early for me? So all these questions come in your head, right, when you have so many people around you growing and being successful. So what I would say is that everybody's journey is like unique in their own, and the challenges should not deter you. I wouldn't quote all my challenges and say, hey, I reached this level after breaking this bias or so and so. I would just say that there were multitude of challenges, and it would not have been possible if I did not have a squad of army of supporters to help me through the dark times.
yeah, well, it's always good to ask for help. I mean, doesn't make you any less, right? And
Right.
everybody needs help. I mean, whoever thinks that they don't need help into for getting somewhere that they want to get, I think that's a little shallow. But um,
Exactly. So
we
that is
we
what I'm doing. Like, I'm giving back to the society what I've taken. So now I'm mentoring people. I'm and that feeling when you get promoted, like the feeling that when you get someone promoted is like, oh
right,
my god,
right, yeah,
it's to another level, because you're like, oh my
mm,
god, I made this person grow in this specific
yeah,
field, in this specific area. That happiness or the thrill that you get from presenting a promotion packet and getting it through is like, wow. There's
I
no other
know.
feeling in the world.
Must be a great feeling, being responsible for somebody else's success, watching their journey, watching them grow, and being able to help them get where they want to get. I mean, it's just a way of rising yourself and bringing everybody around you with you. And it
Exactly,
must be
that
must
is
be an amazing
empowerment.
feeling. Must be an amazing
Exactly.
feeling. Ruchika, what do you have to say about this?
So, like I was fortunate enough to like start my career with Geekends actually. So, I got all my support and motivation vision within the organization. As Varsha said that, like if we need help, we should ask for it. Okay. So, what exactly I did in Geekends? So, when I was growing I was growing through my career within the organization, I felt that okay, 2 years, 3 years, it's fine. But when I look forward into the organization and I wanted to like take an inspiration from like leadership women's who are they there, like I can just talk to them, I can like understand the career out of like path, the career path with them, I can discuss with them. So I started looking forward, and the gap between that position, like it was immense. So I had that concern, and I was in B. So I started talking to the organization, especially to Sanket, like what exactly we are looking into and what will be my next path here, like I'm not understanding. So he told me one thing, okay, you are good in code, you work hard, and you are a people person. So why can't you just take that lead and take the inspiration and be a part of that? So that motivated me a lot. Like I don't know what happened at that time, and just I had to work hard and I have to fill that gap
Oh,
within
that
the
switch flipped in your head, and you were like, "Yeah, that's what I was looking
so
for."
I was like zero, and after talking to him and with the management, I was like 100% charged up, and then I started. I just had to work hard, and I just had to prove myself, and what I did like last 2 years. So, like I was fortunate enough to be a part of certain organizations that which always empower me and always help me out like whenever it's needed.
That's wonderful.
I
I
think
mean,
you're giving a hiring pitch. I think to all the women devs out there, looks like Geeky
come
Ants
to
is
Geeky
like one of the
Ants.
best
Yeah, yeah,
places to work.
actually we are.
Yes, we can also show off our goodies which we receive for Women's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm waiting to find out what I get on Wednesday. Probably a high congratulations, happy
That
Wednesday.
was the privilege. You didn't have
Continue
to have
working.
that.
Anyway, well, it's obvious since you ladies have been such an important part of the community out there, and you've been so active, you've been working with people, you've been helping them grow, and you are mentors and role models to so many people out there, who always keep in touch with you and keep interacting with you. What I'm interested to know is when you guys were starting out, who were your role models? Who did you look up to, or did you have anybody that you looked at and you thought, well, you know that's where I draw my strength from, and that's where I need to be, or this is the path that I need to walk on. Anyone can go. Pooja, go for
Yeah.
it.
A lot of people in my life has asked this as who has been your role model.
Mm.
I can't ever say like one name, and honestly, right now I can't even say like multiple names. Like okay, maybe I draw like inspiration from this person. Maybe I draw the work inspiration from this person or whatever. But I think one thing that has kept me going and kept me improving is seeing my past self, seeing what I was yesterday, and it doesn't mean like just yesterday, seeing what I was 10 years back. Because if I remember, I think 10 years back, I can say this, that I was a really dumb person. That I did not understand a lot of things in terms of like, I don't even know at that point of time. I would be laughing if I say that, oh, I'll get into tech and I'll do software engineering kind of a thing. But that's when also like there are times when there are role models who basically put you up for success, and there are people who put you up for failure, and it's how you basically come out of it. And there was a time when there were people in my life 10 years back who were putting me up for failure, and I was trying to come out of it, and that's where I am right now. Just trying to like get out of that place, and trying to prove myself. And then now it's like, now it's becoming like my personality. So I've always learned from failures more and my past self more than like any person. Like, I am always inspired, like, okay, this person is doing really good, but their life is different. Their path was definitely different. Today, I can't like, no, yeah, I really want to be like her. I really want to be like, nay. I mean, they may have something completely different going on in their behind the scenes. You never know. Like people come and say like, you have such a, like this was in 2019, but they're like, you have such a nice life, you're traveling for conferences and all that. And I was like, yeah, that's how you look at it. But
Yeah.
when I think of it, I was like, there were times where like I would having like 101 fever, and I'm still on stage trying to like give a talk, and like I'm in pain and all that, but I don't show it because we have to be professional. And that's the behind the scenes. So you do not know, what you see on Twitter is not the real life.
You see the good life,
So
but not the hustle.
they don't see the hustle. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, you have such an easy life. You're like
Mm.
traveling.
Mm.
Not anywhere,
Right.
but you're like traveling.
Right.
So that is not like, so I don't that's why I don't even try to like say I want to be like her, because I get inspired by people's today, but I know that their today has a lot of things behind the scenes that I do not know of. So let me learn from something that I am aware of, which is my past self. That yesterday I could not do X, today I will make sure that I do X, and that's where it keeps me going.
Mm. Right. Rati?
Um, so, as she said, I think the idea of what life I want, or how I want to see myself, how I want to see myself after 10 years, is what inspires me rather than looking for inspiration in other people. So I completely agree that we cannot see the hustle or behind the scenes of a person, because there are two different environments we grow in, and there are different challenges life throw us at, and also the level of difficulties are different. So, yes, I think my source of inspiration is my dreams, and I'm just trying to turn all of them into reality.
Wow. Ruchika?
So actually, I'm speechless after Pooja and Rati, and
I know, right? Me too. I had
how
nothing to
they
say.
actually explain. And I literally I don't have anything to say, and I'm getting inspiration from them right now. Okay, this can also be a thought, and we can have it like this thought also. So that.
Varsha?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree to both the women and what they said. I agree that I'm speechless too. But I wouldn't. It wouldn't be fair to not attribute or credit what I am today to people who I have seen in my journey. And yes, I know that we most of the times we do not get to see the background, the hustle. But if you have like a close knit of circle who you get inspired from, you also get to see the hustle, and that's very inspiring. So choose right set of people who you want to be around, because that's what I have done since the beginning of my career. I've seen people, I've seen women, I've seen Pavitra Korma. Like if I start to name down the list, I think it'll take the entire session, so I'm not going to kind of give name by name. But you have to know, and everybody has to know that the close circle that I grew up with, the things that they were doing. Pavitra was there, Pavitra Kodmat was there, my husband Ankit Maini, the linchpin team, Avinash, Abhinav Rastogi, everybody in Flipkart who were doing breakthrough things like PWA and everything. Everything inspired me. Amar Nagaram inspires me. CEO of Mindra inspires me. My own CEO Kalyan Krishnamurthy inspires me. My director of engineering Ajay inspires me. Right. So I'm seeing people every day in my work life. People around me. Sunil Pai. Right. The way. And it's not only about professional journey, right? You get to know, you kind of become like this wholesome person, because career is a very important aspect of your life, right? So you can't say I'm a different person personally and I'm a very different person professionally. It has to be an amalgamation of all these things. So I wouldn't say I have learned only professional things from all of these people, and I'm sorry if I'm missing out any names, because as I said, I have a long list of people I get inspired from, right? So what I'm trying to say is that every person has taught me a quality. Every person has contributed to where I am today. We had Prashant Kumar. Like, I know I'm saying random names out here, but they mean a lot to me. A lot to me, because every talk, every 5 minute conversation that I've had with these people has changed my perception on how I should be looking at myself. So it most of the time it is not about who he is or who she is that you want to be. Most of the time it is about this conversation has reflected something about me that I did not know that I had. So those kind of conversations create that kind of bond, create those circles, create those passionate people around you. Have those set of passionate people around you who can motivate you, and I have a lot, and I'm thankful to all of them. And I'm sorry, I'm again very sorry if I missed out any
I
one of
think
them.
everybody is getting the message, so you don't have to worry about that at all.
Right.
But that is a really, really nice take, because that is true for, I think, everyone. Is just like, it's just so many names. You do not really remember, okay, this is the list. But every conversation, you see like, okay, this person, handle the situation in this way. I totally can learn from something like that. And it may be like just someone you see even in the office, or like maybe like in a personal situation, personal life or something. Every person, good person, has taught me something for sure. Maybe I do not remember all of the people, for sure, because it could be like a random person that I met in a conference, right? So it maybe I do not remember, but I totally credit the people that I've met in the entire life, career life, or whatever it is, that I'm sure that they have left some kind of a touch in my life for sure.
Yeah, it's not always one person, right? I mean, it's so
Yeah.
many people, and you learn a little bit of little things from everybody. You see people. I mean, I think what I personally feel is that you learn everything, a lot of things from everyone. It's just a matter of from some people you learn how to do things, and from some people you learn how not to do things.
Yes.
So I think that's fair enough. And yeah, I mean, there's so many people that you must come across, so many people that say one sentence to you and walk away, but then that sticks in your head, and it lives with you, and then you live by it,
Absolutely.
right? So that's how it is. um you know uh, Ladies, I've had the pleasure of it's been an amazing session talking with you guys today, and I couldn't help but keep smiling because of all the stories that you've been sharing, and there is so much strength that comes out of you people, and this I'm hoping, and I'm sure that there are so many people who are watching right now are resonating with everything that you say. And just like we were talking about taking inspiration, taking a little bit of inspiration from all of you as to how you've done things in life and how they might think that it's fair for them as well. uh, but to conclude, I would just love for you to speak to our viewers and give them this one something that has always shared with them one thing that has always given you strength in the worst of your times, and share that one statement or one feeling that you always try to hold on to when times get tough, and that always keep you afloat. Love for you
Um,
to share that.
yeah, so I really like this quote by Mae Jemison, which is, "Don't let anyone rob you of your imagination, your creativity, or your curiosity. It is your place in the world. It is your life. Go on and do all you can with it, and make it the life you want to live."
I
Love
think
that.
that should have been the ending note. We can't top it. I'm sorry.
That's
Maybe
okay,
replay it. Maybe replay it.
we will
Close to
replay
the
it one
Yeah,
more
end.
time,
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
replay it.
okay,
and
this is
Or
the
fulfill the
I
ending
can
demand.
note.
say it again.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
say it
yeah.
again.
With just her on the screen, that would be like a great ending.
Anyway, Ruchika,
Yeah, so for me, I'll just have this like this kept me driving like all of this like the industry this thing. So we should always push our limits. Okay, so if you don't push our limits, like if you don't push ourselves, we don't know what's the next limit for us, like what exactly we can achieve. So we should always be keeping ourselves. We should have a belief, and we should like challenge ourselves, and we should break that challenge for it. And this will boost your confidence always.
well,
Nice.
surely worked for you, Ruchika. I can vouch for that. Pooja,
I think the one thing that I can, or like maybe two things that I can tell people, or like the young women that are like coming into the industry, or just women in general itself, is that I think for us, you don't have the choice to be just common or mediocre. You have to be so good that people don't have the choice or the chance to see your gender. Like you have to be so good that you people feel privileged to work with you or to teach you or to learn from you. Like if there is anyone in your team and like saying, like, oh yeah, she's the only female engineer in the team, shut him up, because you're much more than the female tagline, and you're just a great engineer. So do not associate technology with gender. I know that people keep saying women in tech, but yeah, I know that's a like a thing that we have trying to like recognize people here in the minority, but in the actual place, there is no gender in technology. So that's
people
one
in
thing.
tech.
And yeah. So, and also, I think in the journey that I think a lot of us has mentioned this, is that we will need male allies for sure, and I'm pretty sure the people who are watching this definitely are in the list of male allies, because they are interested to know what's how to break the bias, because this battle will be incomplete if both men and women do not fight for the right in a way. It can't just be like the women's thing kind of. So definitely identify them, keep them close, because they are the one who is going to help you get to the position, or like get to the place where women's voices do not get heard, which is a lot of places. So maybe the male allies will help you get there, and use them to educate other men who keep on saying diversity hire, unfair promotions and all that. So yeah, so we need male allies to educate them as well. So yeah, that's most of the things I really want to tell people here.
Yeah, I think the message has been conveyed quite clearly. Varsha,
Yeah, my view is more realistic than idealistic here. I would say more. I'm sorry, not idealistic. I'm not even sure if that's a word. More ideal
we'll
here.
roll with it.
I'm trying to be more
We'll
realistic.
roll with it.
So yeah, what I would say is that don't be too harsh on yourself. We're just like tiny fragments in this entire universe. Life is not about proving to yourself or proving to anyone that you need something to, you know, need something, you need to have something, or you need to be successful at the end of the day, or you have to match these five other women who are sitting with you, or five other men who are sitting with you. It's not about that. It's about the contention here. And the second most important thing is that your mental health is very important, because I have been a person who has been struggling with this a lot. I go on and off social media. I have it in phases. I delete Twitter, I delete Instagram, I delete everything. I take a break and then I come back and join again. And a lot of things affect you personally, professionally, right? A lot of things. I'm not going to say it's going to be an ideal state or believe in yourself. That's just some bullshit thought that you give to people. Believe in yourself. No, it's okay to not believe in yourself. It's okay to question yourself. It's okay to say, why is my life so fucked up, right? But what is not okay is that you don't get up at the end of the day, right? And you just stay at the rock bottom. Because once you're at the rock bottom, you have to realize that there's nothing, no other bottom that you can hit, right? And it's only way up. So while it may sound like a gyan or like a knowledge session here, what I'm trying to say is that not everything in your life will be perfect, and it's okay. It's okay. As long as you are happy in your life, as long as you are achieving what you want, as long as you are buying the lipstick that you desired for the last 5 years, it need not be an international travel. It can be as simple as buying the dress that you loved for a year and a half and you were able to achieve it, right? Just be content with what you are and do not compare your life to social media, to people, even their hustle. You don't want to hustle, don't hustle. Nobody has asked you to work hard, right? It's your choice. At the end of the day, I'm going to tell all women that it's a choice that you have and nobody else can give it to you. So choose to be yourselves, choose to be your unique self, and do not fall in for the traps that people put on social media, including me.
So let me help you with that. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong. I think to summarize all of this, it's just a matter of doing your best and having no regrets,
Absolutely.
right? Fantastic. Rati, why don't you help us close the session with that beautiful quote of yours?
Do I have to say it again?
Well, if you want to,
Oh, well, I have something better.
let's go for it.
I would just like to say that we women, as women, we are naturally have this nurturing mindset or empathy, working in collaboration and intuitiveness. So let's continue to be brave, courageous, independent, and self-sufficient if we choose to.
Oh, where do you get all of that? It's beautiful.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful. True.
Thank you.
Anyway, it was such a pleasure spending this time with you, ladies, and thank you so much for spending this time with me and talking to me. And it was an absolute treat to know your stories, know your journeys, and to get to know you as people better. And I think it was the same for all the viewers that we have had for this event today. Uh, Obviously, towards the end, it's important for me to to summarize everything that these ladies here said. That uh, it's okay if you don't feel like you have good days sometimes. It's okay to stay down for a little while, but only if it helps you get back up, get running, and achieve what you want, not what others want for you. And I think that's how we will continue to break the bias, and we will keep doing this until there is no more bias left. And with that, Pooja, Rati, Ruchika, Varsha, thank you so much for talking to me today and to all of our viewers.
Thank you so
And
much.
I hope that
Thank you so
you
much.
achieve
Thank you for having
everything.
us.
And I hope that you achieve everything that you've always dreamt of, which you have dreamt of. And I hope you have the best of lives ahead. Thank you so much.
Wish
Thank
the
You
same.
guys
you.
take care.
Thank
And
you.
happy Women's Day to all of you watching.
Happy Women's Day, everyone.
Happy Women's Day.
Okay, since
You
she's
did
Bye.
doing
enough?
it, I think we have
Okay,
to do it.
I'll do it too. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Take care.
everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.